Good morning, HawgBeat. HawgBert. Happy holidays, happy new year. My name's Kolby. I'm a content manager at Flow Sports down in Austin, Texas. But more importantly, as far as you're concerned, I'm a Northwest Arkansas native, married a Razorback, diploma on the wall staring me in the face right now to prove it. If you've been on the trough at any point in the past 24 to 48 hours, depending on when she actually publishes this, you would know that I basically guilted Nikki, a former coworker of mine, a friend of mine, to let me do a little Arkansas content in 2020. If you've not been on HawgBeat in the last 24 hours in the trough or whatever, then you still know because I just told you. Initially, we were thinking just do like a once a week. I think she called it a drive-by. As I explained in what I wrote on the site a couple of days ago, it's an opinion piece, but it's one that is not encumbered by the necessary politics that come with being on the team's beat full time. I can keep it really real, and I will, and that's the point. But then Nikki was like, you're also welcome to vlog. And I was like, girl, I got a camera. I'm handy with Premiere Pro. Don't tempt me. Well, she tempted me, and here we are. In case you missed it, I wrote about the Hogs' road win at Indiana last night, also known as the first road win for the Hogs against a Big Ten opponent in count them, 7 decades, 1949-50, the last time it happened. Also known as a game that this team would have lost by about 20 points a year ago. So the primary thing that I really want to do today is just come clean because it's the internet, and if I don't, you're going to find out anyway. I was decidedly not excited about Sam Pittman. I can repeat for you what I had to say, but this is actually an excellent opportunity for your boy to plug the Flow Football podcast I do every week with Kyle Brackey. It's called Bootleg. It's a decent show. I think you'd enjoy it if you have some spare time. If not, it's fine. We're here. On the show just before Christmas, this is what I had to say about Sam. I thought that we were looking at Matt Campbell and Mike Norvell and et cetera, and it turns out we weren't looking at any of those guys. Right. All we were doing was making sure that Campbell and Leach could get extensions at the school they're at right now. And Norvell was all the way out because he's still upset about what happened a year ago, I guess. And I don't know. I thought Kiffin was a pretty sure thing, and then that didn't happen either. So anyway, I would have loved to have just...
Is it concerning that he had the football team's account blocked on Twitter?
You know what? I just think he's very petty, apparently, and I'm okay with petty because petty's like my middle name, so I'm okay with that.
I mean, petty is college football. That's what college football is.
No, I actually thought that was kind of funny. That part didn't bother me. I don't know, man. I don't know if he's the right. When I say right type of guy, man, I just mean like the intangibles, the personality, like what's important to him. You can't win in the SEC trying to do it like Alabama. That's why I have pause about the fact that he can go get offensive line. Great, okay, cool. You're never going to get better offensive linemen than Alabama, LSU, and Auburn. You're just never going to do it. I don't care how good you are. Of course, it didn't end there. I had more to say, including the fact that I wish that they had just punted and lifted the interim tag off of Barry Lunny Jr. In fact, what the hell? Let's play the rest. Sam Pittman. All I've heard is that Sam Pittman is a great guy, a great recruiter.
Yes, sir.
And that's wonderful. I heard all those same things about Chad Morris. He's really nice. He's good at recruiting. Sam Pittman's good at recruiting to Georgia. Chad could obviously recruit to Clemson. That was his thing. Did not automatically translate to winning games in the SEC. And I actually have a crazy opinion on this. I think Arkansas should have just stayed with Barry Lunny.
Really?
I think they should have just kept Barry Lunny, removed the interim tag. Not because I think he would have succeeded, but because I think that Pittman was like plan F.
Yeah.
And they would have looked way less ridiculous firing an interim Lunny in 3 years than they're going to look firing their third hand-selected head coach over like a 6-year span. And I think either way, it's going to end poorly. That's my early impression of Pittman. You have to be a special kind of guy to win at Arkansas. Bobby Petrino was in that moment in his career, he was a special type of dude. Houston Nutt even had a little special to him. I don't know, man. Pittman just feels like Morris to me. Tell me why I'm wrong. All right. Now that we're all being honest with one another, I think I've completely changed my mind in like a week's time. Thanks to the hires of Barry Odom and Kendall Briles to run the defense and the offense respectively. Look, in this league, and really in college football as a whole, with rare exception, a program is only going to be as good as its coordinators. And I think that's where Chad basically laid his own trap before he even really got started at Arkansas. The majority of the guys that he brought over, a dude like Justin Stepp, obviously notwithstanding, but majority of the guys he brought over, woefully underqualified, underprepared, whatever negative adjective you want to put on it. At the end of the day, guys that should not have been coaching in the SEC, let alone the SEC West. I'm sorry, Joe Craddock, John Chavis, no business. Chavis, obviously, an altogether different situation from Craddock. He's a guy that was simply, I don't know, let's call it like we saw it, a guy that was past his prime, a guy that low-key hadn't been at the top of his profession in what? Like 5 years, which, football years being like dog years, that might as well be 25 years. But Barry Odom, that's a dude who probably shouldn't have been fired by Missouri to begin with, particularly just so they could go out and give Eli Drinkwitz $4 million a year. So good for them on that. That's a guy that took Missouri, and turned them into a top 10 defense 4 years ago. That's a guy who, look, for all the awards that Missouri had this fall, it's a guy that had them at 14 in total defense at the end of the year. Barry Odom is a hell of a defensive coordinator. He's a pretty decent head coach for that matter, and was absolutely a home run hire for Arkansas to get him in that spot. So we started there. That being said, Odom alone, that would not have been enough for me to change my mind on Sam Pittman, because at the end of the day, it feels like Arkansas has been offensively challenged now for it feels like a decade. I know that's not right. I know we scored some points with Bielema at one point. I know we had a nice thing going with Dan Enos. It feels like forever, though, since we could count on that offense. You still want to know, what are we going to do on offense? You still want to see, a program that had Joe Craddock calling the shots for 2 years go and get the best available offensive coordinator. And I'll be damned if that's not exactly what our man Sam Pittman went and did. Listen, I don't know what was going on at Florida State. I don't know or care what Briles and that offense accomplished this year. I'm guessing it wasn't much. I didn't check. I truly don't know. I just know Florida State kind of sucked. It's not important. If you watched Houston play in 2018, they're scoring 44 points a game, top 25 in passing and rushing. The year before at FAU, they're running for damn near 300 yards a game. They're scoring 40-plus points there, too. And those 2 years are not outliers. This is a guy that's put up 40-plus a game everywhere he's been. It's a guy that was a Broyles Award finalist at one point at Baylor. And it's a guy that, quite frankly, was only available to Sam Pittman in Arkansas right now because he's still trying to outrun his last name. So I was down for a minute. I was a little bit out on Arkansas football. I was really thankful for Muss and the basketball team kind of lessening my Arkansas athletics-related depression. But I'm back in now with Pittman hiring Odom and then following that up with Briles. I think we have a team that A, is going to stop opponents, go figure, and a team that B is going to not immediately pump the brakes, but a team that, year 2, year 3, we're scoring 40, 45, 50 points a game again. And frankly, for Arkansas to compete in the SEC and the SEC West, that offense has got to be live. So at this point, I'm looking forward to seeing what Pittman does in year 1, and more to the point, seeing what Odom and Briles do in year 1, but particularly in that second recruiting cycle and going into year 2, and seeing what this team really looks like in 2021, 2022. I am officially back on board. I'm back on the Arkansas football bandwagon. I now think Sam Pittman might have accidentally been the right guy.
Yes, sir!